So now we have some idea of the supply and demand for dollars in the foreign exchange market. You could picture it this way. Here's the US, here's Europe, and in between, floating in the middle of the ocean, anchored on very long chains, is, if you want to picture it that way, a market in which people are exchanging not goods and services yet, they're exchanging currencies. Americans are supplying dollars to the foreign exchange market, and Europeans are demanding dollars. So the dollars that are available for Europeans to buy depend on the dollars that Americans are selling. And the reason the Europeans want to buy any dollars, have any dollars, is that they are supplying at the same time euros. They're supplying euros to swap them for dollars. And the Americans are only supplying dollars because they want to swap them for euros. So dollars are going from the US to Europe. Euros are flowing from Europe to the US. And that whole process of swapping currencies is called the foreign exchange market. Now, before we go on to look at the details of that market, supply and demand, let's remember that other question I asked a minute ago, which is why do we care? The reason we care about the exchange value of the dollar is that anything a stronger dollar what does that do? If the euro price of a dollar an increase in the number of euros it takes to buy a dollar will increase the euro price of American goods and services. And that makes it harder for Americans to export. If dollars get more expensive for Europeans to buy, then all American goods and services become more expensive measured in euros. Their euro price rises. And all other things being equal, Europeans won't buy as many American goods and services. Vacations in New York and Disneyland will get more expensive for Europeans. They won't travel as much. So the U.S. will not export as much tourism. It won't export as many goods either. A strong dollar hurts American exporters. At the same time, a strong dollar will lower the dollar price, the U.S. price of European goods and services. If a dollar buys more euros, a dollar's worth more euros, then $1 buys more French wine, more trips to Italy than it used to, and Americans will buy more French wine. A strong dollar, in other words, sucks in imports. The reverse is all true. A weaker dollar will do two things. A weaker dollar helps American exports because it lowers the euro-denominated price, the euro price of any American goods and services. That's what's happening right now. The dollar is weak. Price of Disneyland visits might stay the same in US dollars, but measured in euros for a French or Italian or Spanish or German tourist, as the dollar gets weaker, the same vacation in New York or Disneyland gets cheaper measured in euros, so more Europeans will go there. The US will export more tourism. At the same time, it will raise the weaker dollar will make European goods and services more expensive for Americans. Americans will not buy as many of them. Imports to the United States will fall. So, a stronger dollar cuts exports, raises imports, thereby reducing net exports, reducing aggregate demand. A strong dollar is bad for aggregate demand in the United States because it makes it harder for us to export and it encourages us to suck in imports. Whereas a weaker dollar will raise exports, cut imports, and stimulate aggregate demand. So that's why we care about the exchange value of the dollar, at least in AP Econ. And now let's go back and see in detail what changes the exchange value of the dollar. The short answer is anything that changes either the supply or the demand of dollars in the foreign exchange market. Let's see that next.